Get my 6! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the most awesomest homesteading channel on the entire planet, and probably the whole universe, that has nothing whatsoever to do with homesteading. Homesteading off the grid. Guys and girls, today our video actually does kind of have something to do with homesteading. It's going to be a video that's recorded over a series of days, if not weeks. We've got a serious issue here on the homestead, and it has to do with our pond. So I'm going to take the phone to the pond, explain what's going on, and show you how we are planning on fixing it with this really neat, handy-dandy pond aerator from my favorite sponsor, Vevor. Okay, so let's go have a look at the pond and let me explain to you what's going on. Okay, so here's the pond, and folks, we have a couple of things going on here. As you can tell, the water is not flowing. It's late summer. It's August as of this recording, the first week of August. You can see a lot of algae on top of the water. It's got that muck slime green, like sick snot green. There's some beautiful dragonflies in here regardless. So there's a lack of oxygen right now because there's a lack of flow, and also there's a lack of oxygen because we recently sprayed the pond for a hydrilla outbreak that we had. And part of the decomposition process of any organic matter is that a lot of oxygen is required for decomposition to take place. So the dead hydrilla, as it's basically rotting on the bottom of the pond, is stealing the oxygen from the water. Well, that is negatively affecting our fish. So far, we've lost 2 bluegills, pretty sizable bluegills. We haven't lost any of our catfish. We've recently stocked with catfish. We do have some crappie, some bass in here, but we don't want to lose any more fish. We want to have a healthier pond system. And we have a creek pond that we use as a stock pond way up in the woods there, where we recently put in 200 channel cats, 100 largemouth bass, and 1,500 bullhead minnows, which will be used as feeder fish for the larger fish species, the game species. But what we've got to do before we transfer those fingerlings fish down here in about a month to 6 weeks, is we have got to greatly increase the oxygen content of the pond. And that is where the Vevor pond aerator comes in. So we're going to unbox it, we're going to hook it up, and then I'm going to record this video over a period of, like I said, several days, if not a couple of weeks, so we can see the before, which is now, no flow, mucky, snotty, yuck green colored water with algae on top, very low oxygen levels. And then we're going to see how this does after a period of time with the oxygenator to see if the product is actually worth using and if it's effective. So let's go unbox the product and see how it looks. All right, so I'm going to do my best to stay out of your way as I unbox this. Vevor, if you followed me for a while, you know, has been one of our channel sponsors for about 6 years now. Their motto is tough tools, half the price. Again, I say it every time I do a demo video for Vevor. I'm going to say it again now. That is true. Now, this is a demo video. I get the product for free in exchange for doing a demonstration of it. So I get it for like none of the price. But this product, and there will be a link in the description box below should you decide to go this route after you see how well it does here, hopefully. It's approximately $308 right now as of this recording. Now, if you were to compare that to other leading brand aerators, you're going to pay more than twice that. I did do some research because we're stocking our pond consistently now, beginning this year, with catfish and bass, and we're probably going to add more crappie at some point. Because of the kids, our son Daniel and his friends love to fish in the pond, and they're tired of just catching bluegills, even though the bluegills are like this big. They're huge. They weigh like 1.5 pounds. But also, we're going to use the fish for personal consumption. We want to eat them. We love fish. My beautiful bride, Dearly, a.k.a. Giggly Girl, makes the most delicious fish dishes. They're Filipino recipes. So I did do my research, and I was willing to pay. My point of that is I was willing to pay more money for maybe a more expensive product if there was much of a quality difference. But from what I found in my research, the people that have used the Vevor aerator swear by it, and they say that they're glad they went the less expensive route because there really was no benefit to going the more expensive route. It's well packaged. I should have shown you this. They've got all the various compartments here of styrofoam so that everything is neatly in place. It's shipped well. It just arrived today. And, you know, the people at Vevor are wonderful. I told my contact there, I was like, hey, because usually they say, hey, we want to pitch these products this month. Are you interested in any of them? I'll find one or two that I am, the other dozen I'm not. And I only take the products that I know we'll use here on the homestead. But I contacted them and I said, hey, we got this problem going on with our pond. Can you send me your best aerator? And they said, not a problem. It's in the mail. 3 days later, boom, here it is. So there's not a lot of parts. I see we've got a filter here, some valves. Here's some sort of, oh, this is pretty neat. I don't know what this is yet. I'm gonna have to read the instruction manual to find out. Here's the really neat stuff you're not supposed to eat. Here's some more filters. And this looks like this is a noise reducer. I know that because I actually watched some other videos. So there's not a whole lot of parts. In recent times, folks, I have been kind of getting away from doing any demo videos because I don't like spending forever putting things together. Case in point, I spent 3 hours putting that carport together for my wife's new Mercedes-Benz I just bought her this summer because she finally got her driver's license. Been telling her for years, honey, get your license, I'll buy you a brand new Mercedes-Benz. So she finally got her license and I did that. So anyway, it's just a time issue. So what I'm seeing already that I like is there is not much to have to piece together on this. So it doesn't look like it's going to be much of a time consideration. I value my time at this point more so than I do, and I think most of us as we get older we do. So anyway, let's look at the manual here. Looks like a pretty simple self-explanatory system. The thing I like about Vevor's manuals is that they are straight and clear. There's not a bunch of mumbo jumbo. They don't mince words like a yuppie. They just come out and say what they mean and mean what they say. It's got a pretty good parts description, shows how to install it. So yeah, this should be pretty simple to follow. I'll have to get my old man reading glasses out. So here's how I do these, folks. I'm going to stop the camera and I'm simply going to follow the instructions as far as assembly goes, but I will be mindful of the time so that when I do come back on, I can tell you approximately how much time I spent putting the product together. And if I find any troubleshooting issues that I need to go over where things might be a little bit different than how it's explained in the manual, I will record that. So if you run into those issues with this product, you'll be able to figure that out as well by watching my video. So let me stop the video for now, start piecing this thing together, and I'll be right back. All right, so guys, it took all of 10 minutes to piece it together. The instruction manual was very clear. This is not a noise reducer. This is actually the air filter. I did twist that open and look inside, and basically there's one of these in there. So it's nice that the product does come with 2 air filter replacements. I watched a video of a gentleman on YouTube who has a pond about 5 times larger than mine. He says he replaces these about once a year. The only thing you had to screw on was this little contraption right here. Okay, it screws onto the end. You had to screw on the air filter. That was literally it. And then it comes with 100 feet of hose. And you simply hook the hose up to this end, and it's got a clamp you screw on. I used my handy dandy Leatherman, not sponsored. This is a Vevor video, not a Leatherman video. And then I ran the hose all the way out just to see how much 100 feet actually is, and it's way more than I need. I'm going to be cutting some of it off. And then you basically, this is the part that will go on the bottom of the pond and sit there, and the air comes through. I have not tightened this yet because I will be cutting off some of the hose. I'm not going to, I mean, I don't need 100 feet of hose. I need about maybe 25 feet at most. And then this aeration disc just screws on and off to the top. So the air will come from the air compressor, the pump over there, through the hose into here, and then you can see it will be, there's little holes or something where the air will be, oh no, yeah, the air will come up out of this, and then that will create the bubbles, which will of course add the oxygen to the pond. So again, 10 minutes to put together. I couldn't find the on-off switch. So here is one difference in the instruction manual. Once you get through completing it, it says somewhere, you know, turn it on, turn on the on-off. So here it is, on-off switch, to turn on the thing, auto, on-off, whatever. I think that probably has to do with this timer, which I'm not going to use. I will not use this timer because I'm going to run this thing continually, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. Unless there's 53 weeks in a year, then I'll go 53 weeks. So basically, without the timer, if you just plug it in, it comes on. So let me see if I can put the phone down here long enough to plug it in. I'd like to get this on camera for you here. Look at that. So you plug it in. Now it sounds like it's dying, but that's just as the air is working through, again, 100 feet of hose. And here in about 15 seconds, it gets all the air pockets, all the air bubbles out, and it'll run continuously. So I'll leave it here long enough for you to check that out. There we go, see? And it's not loud. You see that? That's relatively quiet. So it runs consistently. We got the, I guess that's an outtake. All right, crazy lake mistake. This is not the output. The way you get the air to run through the line is at this point, once you plugged it in and it turns on automatically, you got to switch this. There. Now we have the air going through all the way through the 100 feet of line, of course, which we're going to be cutting some off, and I can feel it. Yes, I can now feel the air. It's basically coming up and just out of this, and it's coming out of this jellyfish head looking thing, and it's going to go up through the water. Okay, so it's simple. A 10-minute setup, plug it in to turn it on, or you could use this, and again, very simple instructions for that if you want to time it, but I'm going to run it continuously. Flip that switch, the air goes through the hose. Oh, there's the air filter. It's sucking. Hear that? Yep, so that's working well. Perfect, it's running great. So let me unplug it just so we're not wasting energy. I'm going to show you how I'm going to install it. Again, I'm going to cut the line down to about 25 feet. Now it recommends in the instruction manual to bury this line. I don't think that's going to be necessary for me because I'm going to put it in a place where there will be no foot traffic. You can see I just have my weed eater down here, and I just weed eated this part out here behind the carport. I'm going to put the contraption here, and I will build something to put over top of it to keep the weather off of it. And I simply went through here. Bear with me. We're going to get some, let me take my sunglasses off so the trees don't knock them off. I'm going to go through the hedge here. I planted this hedge here myself about 5 years ago. These cedars were about, well, they were up to my armpit. Well, now they're 15 feet high. It's great. And also we get wild ducks nesting back here now because of this. But I'm going to run the air line just through here, and I'm going to get out there in a kayak, and I'm going to take the thing out and put it down in the bottom of the pond. I'm probably going to disconnect the air hose, do that. Then I'll know exactly how much air hose I need. But as you can see, this is not passable by foot traffic. I really had to work my way in here. So we have a lot of kids that like to fish down along that side of the bank and even around there and around the edge. So it'll be safe here from animals. Now I might just bury that line because you know there are rodents that like to chew on things. Rats, we do have rats, field mice, rabbits. There's a little rabbit that hangs out here. So let me get that going. I'll give you some footage of that. You know, guys, from this angle, you can really see how desperately this pond needs this aerator. See how green and slimy and mucky everything is? I'm going to show you something I'm doing here before I get the kayak and weasel my way in here and get this and take it out and put it out. I took an old soccer ball that my son has not used in years, and part of the soccer net he hasn't used in years, and I made a floating device. So what I'll do is, as I put this on the bottom of the pond, this will float up to the surface. And then, of course, the line will run from the floaty to here to the actual air pump unit, which is going to be sitting over here. So that way, if this thing ever gets all gooped up and slimed up, or if I need to do any sort of maintenance for any reason, I can go out there in the kayak and just grab this floaty and then pull the aerator up that way from there. So, with no further ado, as my beautiful bride dearly, aka Giggly Girl, would say, let me go get the kayak and hope I don't fall in the water doing this. Get my 6 again. Let's hope this works. Yeah, this pond desperately needs this aerator. You can see there. Let's see if we can get this set up without me taking a bath. So the deepest part of this pond is right here, and it's about 8 feet. Where I've got that set up, it's about 4. I think I'm going to move it a little bit further down this way. I was afraid I didn't give myself enough air hose, but I did. Success. And I actually got out of the kayak without taking a swim. So I was going to bring it further out, but I decided not to because I'm afraid if I pull it up off the bottom, it'll get the aerator all mucky and whatnot. You can never risk whatnot. So let's go ahead and plug it in, see how it does. So here's my girls. They are curious as to what's going on here. They were walking along, following me this whole time, figuring out what's going on, but here's what's going on now. So I chose not to cut the hose yet. As you can see, we've got the hose going out. This is a weighted hose, so it does sink. To give you a view of the, take that daggone hat and glasses off. I'm gonna lose them crawling through the hedge again. But out there you can see our soccer ball with the device down on the bottom. The line does sink to the bottom, so I left some slack out there. And I'm just going to have to make sure the kids do not cast when they come out fishing in between the bowl or the ball and over here, so they don't hook the line. It does say in the instruction manual, though, that the line is hook proof and knife proof, so that's good to know. I just don't want them dragging the thing around on the bottom, getting it all mucked up. So here's my girls. Hey girls, you curious, huh? So I actually didn't have as much extra line left over as I thought, and I'm not cutting anything off yet because my buddy Heath from Heath's house, I know he's probably watching this video. What up, Heath? Shout out. Guys, if you haven't yet, please go subscribe to Heath's house. This guy is like the honeybee and honey guy of YouTube. He's forgotten more about honeybees than I'll ever know. But him and his little son, Heath Jr., come over about once a week, and we just kind of have play dates. We hang out, and he helps me with stuff around here. So I'm leaving the line. My point of this is I'm going to have to figure out how to get the electrical down here. Gonna have to bury something, and I want to figure out the best option for like a permanent residence for this, where they really like the Vevor carport. And folks, I did a demo on putting this up this summer just to follow up with that. This thing is working out wonderfully. Dearly's out with friends right now. Daniel's with her. They're having like a mom's and son's pool party thing, and they're having a blast. But this has worked out great, and we've had it graveled. We have a neighbor down the road that did this for us on the cheap. Great guy. But I'm going to have Heath help me build something, so I might need more of this line. But with all that said, let's go ahead and plug it in and see how things are going. Okay, let's see how it works in action, because the urgency is just to get it going, because these fish desperately need this. So we've got it plugged in. It comes on. Now you got to remember, flip this switch like this. There we go. So it runs continuously. Now I brought this down because there's a gentleman, I'll get the name of his channel to give him a shout out. I think it's like 5 acres homestead, 5 acres something. I'll get that. I watched his video, and he made like a little home out of just a Tupperware container, exactly like this, that he puts this in, and he's cut some holes through to run the lines through. I might do that, but I want to see what Heath says about it. See if he's got any better ideas for something maybe more stable, more permanent. Because that guy also put a fan in his to keep this cool, and that's probably above my pay grade. So we've got air coming in to the unit, going through the hose. Let's walk around here. Isn't this beautiful? Seriously, these are like 15 to 20 feet tall now, and they were like 5 feet tall when I put them in. They've grown very well. We did this for multiple reasons, but one of them was that this sun really beats down in the Virginia summer on the pond, and it was just making the water just far too uncomfortable for the fish. And so this now provides sunblock. And there is just one house we could see from our porch, and it's not that, everybody likes their privacy, so there was that as well. So that's provided that. So, but look at this. Wow, let me zoom in. Look at that. That is incredible. Oh my goodness. Man, already just instantly, as soon as we plug it in, we can see some benefits to this pond. And look at this, the ripple effect. Whew. They're coming all the way to the bank. all the way down to the spillway. Wow. So you know what, guys? I said that I was going to make this video over a period of weeks. I'm just going to go ahead and upload this so you can understand the process of assembling this thing after you unbox it, hooking it up and getting it in your pond, so that you don't have to wait if you need this product as well. And then I'll just make consistent update videos throughout the next couple of weeks to let you know how it's going. All right, guys, so that wraps it up for today. Again, you can see it in the background here behind me. Doing great. The name of that channel is Triple T Acres. I want to give a shout out to Triple T Acres. Don't know the guy, don't want to know the guy. Listen, I'm just the friendliest antisocial person you'll ever meet. I'm very friendly. I just don't really like to associate with most folks. It's like I'm just like to keep to myself. But check out Triple T Acres YouTube channel, because that guy's got multiple videos on how to take care of a pond throughout the year. He used this same product, and his video is pretty much what swayed me to go with Vevor. And it was just fortunate and ironic that they are one of my corporate sponsors. So again, I want to thank the folks at Vevor for sending me a free aerator. It is a $308 aerator as of this recording. I will put the link for the aerator in the description box below. You can get it on Amazon. Thank you, Vevor, for helping me out. And like I said earlier, I will consistently make update videos to let you know how this is going. And I would suspect that just within a few days, you're going to be able to see our catfish and all of our other fish here much happier than they've been the last few weeks, having to deal with this pond issue that I think we've just corrected. So thanks for being with me here at the most awesomest homesteading channel on the planet that typically doesn't have anything whatsoever to do with homesteading. It just did this time. Homesteading off the grid.